Hey everyone, I hope everyone is doing well. Back with another video. My name is Kevin here. Something I've been thinking about during the week here. Another video for you. Just some stuff that I've been doing over the years that I found very effective in the system. And I find just talking to other audiophiles and that, it just sometimes seems like it's a topic that's overlooked. A lot of people buy different gear and try different stuff, hook up different amplifiers, different DACs, and changing speakers. And so this one's here just to kind of improve your system, which I think will. Some people may disagree or whatever, but that's fine. This is just something that I've discovered years ago, and there are some pros and cons. What we're going to be talking today is about is line conditioning. So or power filtering your power. There's a lot of different things that you can do. Running a line direct from your panel box right to your system, which is a good start. That's where a lot of people start with that. If you can do that, if you're in a condo or an apartment, that might be kind of hard to do. You can't be running lines or digging into their electrical hydro system. Fortunately here, I have my own house. I can run a separate line directly from my box right to my system that I have behind here. And the good thing about it, just basically below this corner here, behind the speakers, in the basement is my panel box, so I can come up through and run my own line. But if you're going to try to do that, it might be difficult if it's at the other end of your house. But that's always a good start, to have your dedicated line to that. And they always recommend to have your system hooked up just basically to one line, not different plugs or different outlets, just because ground loops and all that kind of stuff, which is a total different topic about grounding. But anyways, what I decided to talk today, if you have that, or even if you don't have your dedicated line, thought I would bring to you today is about line conditioning and the effects that you can have on your system. There's a lot of different things it can do to your system. Some people kind of disagree and different things. But anyways, kind of date it way back when I kind of discovered this years ago, again, 30 years ago or something like that. I had a nice system, and I was kind of looking into line conditioning. I had a few different things like power bars and all that kind of stuff. And basically just to allow me to have more outlets, kind of like this unit here. Right here, like a power bar you plug in, it gives you more outlets. We'll take these out because we're going to talk about those later. And I had, cheaper ones that were just plastic that you'd buy, from your normal hardware store or whatever, and it allowed you to plug more things in, which when we get building up our system, just having two outlets in the wall is not enough. So we need something that'll accommodate all our gear. So what I went to my audio store, and what they had there was, at the time, it was a line conditioner. So it was, at the time, I think it was a Chang Lightspeed, which, I mean, we're dating way back with the Chang stuff. So anyways, I brought one home. I think it was $300 or $400, and I tried that one, and it seemed to have a little effect, especially on my TV. It cleaned up a little things, and I thought, well, that's kind of interesting anyways. But I thought, paying $300 or $400 at the time, is it worth it or whatever? And the system had a little bit more clarity. So anyways, I took it back, and they had one that was, more expensive. It was close to $1,000, $900 or something like that, which was their higher end model. So I took that, hooked it up to my system, and they lent it to me for, I think, 3 or 4 days. And, I got listening to it and listening to all my tunes. And then, it's time, Monday comes or whatever, time to return it. I think it was a Tuesday because they were closed Monday. So time to return the line conditioner. So I unhooked it, brought it back to the store, and, hook my system back up there and listen to it again. And I thought, wow, what a big difference. I noticed a little bit of difference while I had it hooked up, but as soon as I unplugged it and took it back to the store, I made a decision. I need to have that thing back. It was a big difference. My system sounded a little grainy. a little rough sounding and all that. And when I had that thing there, it kind of cleaned it up, but I didn't notice it right off the bat. So anyways, went back to my store, bought that, and that's where I started off my journey with the line conditioning. So over the years, I've always had the Chang Lightspeed line conditioners, and at the time I had Bryston amplifiers way back then. So Bryston always recommended to plug amplifier right in directly into the outlet wall, because that's where they're designed. And I think that was beneficial because it seemed if I plugged in the line conditioner, it'd affect the amplifier a little bit. It kind of seemed to rob it of its dynamics and stuff like that, which it seemed to add a little, clarity to it, but it robbed it of its dynamics, which Bryston are known to have dynamic amplifiers. As time goes on, I had those for years, and if I ever took it off my system, it had to go right back in because I noticed a huge difference. As far as any buzzing sounds or ground effects or buzzing and humming that you'd get, it didn't really fix any of that stuff. It just cleaned the audio up. A CD player back then, I had CD player, or if you use a separate DAC or on the preamp, stuff like that on your line level. That's what I use the line conditioner for. Anyways, I had that for many years. I come across another brand. I don't think it's not in existence today. It's definitely not existent. It's a Blue Circle stuff, which is made. I tried it one time and it made a huge improvement. And the owner there, Gilbert there, I talked to him a little bit, and he kind of told me about his aspects on designing them, that he was capacitor based, so that it was non-limiting, so you could plug amplifiers, anything into it, and it wasn't going to ruin the dynamics or anything like that. And he would do a lot of designing to try to just focus on the frequencies that would really affect the audio, which he's done a fantastic job. Since that, I changed over to Blue Circle line conditioners, which I've had a few different ones over the years, and kind of moved up the level to different, to the, more of the top end ones. And, they sound fantastic. When I got on that, obviously I sold my Changs. Not that the Changs aren't any good, it's just the Blue Circle, did a lot more filtering. And they just cleaned everything up, and I'm just amazed at how well they did. Here's something here, just kind of one that I had Gilbert make for me. This is a Blue Circle. This is an add-on, and there's different models. He calls them CXT and different things that he filters them with. And I had hospital grade put in. So this is an add-on to a filter that I had. So this is the kind of stuff he built. A lot of it was in PCV tubes, silicone. It looks a little, ugly or whatever, but it was cost effective to make them this way instead of building them out of, steel chassis. But I guess the best would be is to have an aluminum chassis. But if you want to keep the price down, buy a filter for $400 or $500 up to $1,000 with the PCV. It would keep the cost down. So that's the kind of stuff I've been using, and I found it make a huge difference. And what I really liked about it, it didn't rob any dynamics. The system I have behind me here, it's all completely plugged into that. If anything, it's actually improved the dynamics of it. If you can imagine that, it's done a lot of. So those out there that's used Blue Circle line conditioning, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm not trying to promote that. That company doesn't exist anymore, but there's a lot of different line conditioning companies out there. So, it might be something you want to try. Always, if you want to try it, I would always recommend, borrowing one from your dealer or that kind of a thing, and trying it out for a week and seeing what it's going to do to your system. In most cases, you'll be very surprised. Some people may disagree. It all depends on your system, but any system I've ever owned, line conditioning, I have systems downstairs as well, which has line conditioning on it too as well. So that's the kind of stuff I use. As far as if you have your system right now plugged into line, like a power bar, or even like, I don't know, there's some monster cable and different things that are, they're a couple $100, and they say they're going to do some power filtering and surge protecting any of my experience with those are basically thumbs down. They actually make your system sound worse, and they really rob your system of dynamics. I guess I'll share a little story. I had a friend that bought a subwoofer off another friend, and we're hooking it into his system, plugged it in, and he's never owned a sub before, and it was a surround sound system, and he was hooking up, and he, you know, it was a pretty significant sub. I think it was a 12-inch driver. So, and you know, the thing was about a $1,200 or $1,000 sub, so it should do a pretty good job. But anyways, we were listening to it, and he thought, you know, there should be more bass or something, and he had it plugged into a, you know, a kind of a cheap, you know, $200 power bar thing or whatever. So we listened to it, and I said, you know what, let's just try something here. I plugged the sub from that little power bar that he had, plugged it directly into the system, or sorry, into the outlet in the wall. Completely different change. It was just so dynamic. The bass was there, and we were just like, that's what we want to hear. Well, from that little demonstration, I realized how much that little cheap power bar is actually robbing that subwoofer of its power. So I mean, you can have some good gear hooked up, but if you don't spend any money on you know, line conditioning or eliminate that stuff completely, you know, you're going to run into some problems. You might not be satisfied with the sound. For instance, something like this is, I guess you would say, is kind of like a power bar, just allows you more outlets. You have an IEC here, you can plug in your own power cable, maybe a heavy duty one, and this gives you multiple outlets, but there's no you know, surge protecting or any of that kind of stuff, which in a lot of those units can affect the system big time. Can have drastic effects on your system. You can test this at home if you want to unplug everything. But as far as another topic here is you know, surge protecting and stuff like that. We all want to protect our system. We're worried because we spend a lot of money on it, but those little power bars and all that, they're not good. What I use here was something that Blue Circle had, that he sold, and I can't remember the name, Yellow Belulas or whatever they're called. And these little units here have like a diode and a varistor in there, and they basically absorb, if there's a power surge, they'll absorb so much of it, of the you know, the power that's exceeding, and then it'll actually the diode in there, it'll actually short circuit and kind of kick your breaker off. So before any damage or anything's done, this will react and kick your breaker. So then your breaker will go off, and you will not be able to turn your system on until you go and plug this, which now is garbage, but it saved your system. So that's what I use. I think Gilbert from Blue Circle recommended to have 2 of these, so I always have 2 of these plugged in. At that point, you can use a little extension cable and plug 2, but you know, if you got more outlets, you can plug, you know, 2 of them in there, and then you still have your other ones free. Or if you want to plug a cable with 2 of them, and that way you have your system protected without you know, sacrificing for sound or anything, because this is not going to affect anything in your sound. So I think they work great. They don't make them anymore. I decided to basically make the same thing, my own version of here. So that's what that is. That's just my version, exact same parts and everything that I use to protect my system, because you know, we pay a lot of money for this stuff. This is another thing that I've used before. I have a couple of these. This is a Blue Circle. It's a power line pillow, so it's another kind of filtering, capacitor based as well. So I'm not going to promote Blue Circle because it doesn't exist, but you can still get stuff like this around. Gilbert's still designing things. He's doing, there's N-Track Audio in, I think it's in Markham, George there, but he also sells stuff that's called Audio by Design, and it's designed by Gilbert, same kind of stuff, capacitor-based filtering that I haven't tried a unit yet, but I wouldn't mind doing a demo and seeing what the difference is between his older stuff. But anyways, you can still find stuff like that even in the If you're in the US, that's available around there too. So it might be something to try, just because you have power filtering and it's non-limiting. So it's not going to affect the dynamics on your system. You're just going to get that clarity, and it just cleans everything up. It's just, you know, it's kind of like night and day. That's what we're kind of after. We want to clean up our audio, because even at our our electricity that comes to our house, it's not guaranteed to be clean or at a stable. You know, it can fluctuate up and down. So sometimes you listen to it at nighttime and it might sound a little bit better, just because at nighttime there's less people using hydro. Like we're talking late at night. Less people using hydro machines running and all that kind of stuff that can, you know, affect your electricity. There's a lot of scientific, you know, data and all that kind of stuff you can look up online. So that's what I thought I would kind of bring to you guys today, is just about, you know, about all this power conditioning. Or some people disagree. They tried stuff. There's different stuff out there. I don't know. There's PS Audio, a whole bunch of different brands that make it. I've never tried a whole lot of it. I've just stuck to the ones that I found, you know, effective. But if you want to give that a shot on your system, and you can talk to your, you know, your dealer, or if you have some audio buddies, and maybe they can recommend some different types of line conditioning. Some people like to plug theirs just direct in and don't go with anything, but I always like to squeeze, you know, what I can out of my system, because we're always, us guys, we can't leave stuff alone. Even if it's not broken, we're trying to fix it. We're trying to make it better. So I got a couple little pictures here I'm going to show, just of the stuff that I have, some of the stuff that I got hooked up. Maybe we'll do another video on maybe power cables and all that kind of effect, because that's a whole different topic as well that can have an effect on your system. But that'll be a different topic. We'll do a different video. Try not to keep them too long. So anyways, I just thought I would, you know, bring this to you. And if you want to try some line conditioning out, give it a shot, because I think you might be impressed. And what I always say, if you're going to go a little, it's better to go a little more. If you're going to kind of cheap out on the stuff, you're not going to get really that great of results. But if you're going to spend, you know, I'm not talking large amounts of money, but, you know, you're going to spend a little bit, not, you know, you don't want to spend $200 and see what you're going to get. But, you know, it's minimal. It's kind of like the more you spend, the more you're going to get, that kind of a thing. But anyways, I'll leave this with you, and I'd like to say just God bless. Everybody have an amazing week, and stay tuned for some more of my videos. If you want to hit the like or subscribe to the channel, that'd be great. You'll get some of my other stuff that I'm going to put out. And that's it, folks. Have a good one.